Shoot me emails there, too, if you need. Thank you again to Purper Fishwater for assisting in the live video stream today. Cavaliers win last night. They are off tonight, but back at the Romo Fijo tomorrow to host the Pistons. 118 to 108 was the win over the Clippers last night. And Darius Garland back in. Evan Mobley back in. Jared Allen, the double-double last night. What was the thing on that? 15 straight games he's posted double-doubles. 10 points, 13 rebounds last night.
He's been killing it.
Killing it. So as they say over there, the Romo Fijo, the Cavaliers, let them know that those guys are in charge. And tomorrow night, hosting the Pistons of Detroit. 7 o'clock is the tip-off. 6:30 when we roll out is your pregame coverage here on MMS. And you can also listen to the game on the iHeartRadio app. If you listen to this dog and pony show from outside the state, tell me where you do it. Put you on our map back here. Craig is a new listener in Naples, Florida. TJ's in Savannah, Georgia. Austin's in Valpo, Indiana. David and Megan listen in Washington, D.C. Tomorrow is going to be the last day as well for you to use the promo code RING, as in ring in the new year in the month of January for 20% off at CLE Clothing Company. And then come Thursday, there will be a new promo code that will also get you 20% off whatever you want. Anyone have any guesses on what they think that will be?
Heart.
You will never guess this one.
Oh, no. Rice.
But it is something we talked about earlier in the show.
House.
Oh, curdled.
As in hot curdled goss?
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? No, not that.
Officer.
Nope.
What's it start with?
Toes.
How did you land on officer?
Because we watched that video of the officer.
Oh, you're just going by what?
But I'm
yeah,
going
okay.
by what we've talked about so far on the show today.
Something we talked about, yes.
Slappers.
Kanye.
No, none of those.
What's it start with?
P.
Pig.
Pink.
Poop. Prolific.
I don't think if we talk, you know what, we talk about poop every day. What am I asking?
We
of
talked
course.
about feral hogs. Those are kind of like pigs. It is
Poundcake can guess too.
polite. What have we talked about today that starts with a P?
You guys made fun of me for not enjoying.
Pierogi!
Yeah, pierogi is going to be heart. Yeah, it would have worked. Pierogi is going to be your code for 20% off all month of February. And this year you get 29 days. So if you're in one of their stores, you're a tactile shopper, you can just use that word upon checkout. Otherwise, you can shop online. There's always new stuff coming in and out of CLE Clothing Company. But all through the month of February, just use the word pierogi. ClevelandClothing.com is their website. You can leave us messages anytime, too. You can do them on the app, a little talkback button there. But you can drop voicemails on the After Hours line, which is 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan. I just wanted to say that gooning isn't exactly like edging. Yes, it is a form of edging, but no, if you've edged, you haven't gooned.
I love that our listeners will get us hip to the most random, goofy stuff and just go to the mat for it. If you've edged, Bill, you haven't gooned. You've been fooling yourself this whole time.
Right. Well, that's why
here-
I specified that Oppenheimer was a gooner, not an edger.
Mary and I are just getting hip to this, and now we find out that we've already been led astray by you.
It's ridiculous.
No, it's a form of edging. It's just not.
But according
if you've edged,
according to Cody here, if you've edged, you haven't gooned.
right? But gooning it, right? Like gooning is a form of edging, but edging isn't gooning.
I see. Not all gooning is edging.
Mm-hmm.
Not all edging is gooning. Okay, well, he's got more to say.
All gooning is a
edging,
form of edging,
but not all edging is gooning.
But not all edging is gooning. Well, edging isn't gooning. It's just
there was someone for whom edging was not sufficient, and they go, you know what?
Goon time!
Gooning!
but no, if you've edged, you haven't gooned. Gooning is more like, has to do with like addiction to porn, which I know that gets a negative rap, but like people who are into it, like sitting and basically masturbating or edging until almost till you like go into a trance, sort of, but like edging to the point where your brain melts, like your brain figuratively melts.
This is making my brain melt.
I was going to say, he's really doing a dance to try to not make it sound like it's from his own personal experience, but information is information. And I like to have as much of it as I can.
So that's what gooning is. All right, hit the show. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Listen, 10 minutes ago, I didn't know what the hell it was. Now I know more than I've ever wanted to know about gooning. Again, it's not for me, but...
You don't want to edge until your brain melts?
No, no.
Liar.
Listen, it's also equally...
Not liar, coward.
It's also equally important that he clarified that your brain figuratively melts. Because nobody wants to do that if your brain would literally melt.
No.
Right.
Alan, why does it... The answer to the question, why doesn't Taylor Swift come? She's gooning.
Someone had a good idea for perhaps a punishment for Mary if
I saw this.
you lose. She has to do the Friday Get Down for a month.
Here's the thing, and now let me I just want to pass this message on. Somebody left me a voicemail or a talkback message, and I didn't think it rose to the level of throwing it on the air, but they said, it could be coincidental. He goes, but I feel like since Mary joined the show, you guys are doing these like month-long punishments where it used to just be day of, in the room, one thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably coincidental with the timing.
I haven't suggested that.
No, right. I think he just meant,
Yeah.
I mean,
an evolution of things. The month-long thing, it's kind of like, I like them when they're like one thing in the room. I'm drinking pee.
yeah.
Poundcake's got the ghost pepper.
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. The best ones that I've done have been the long ones.
people?
No, well, I mean, yeah, but like the earring, the perm, the bowl cut, those were all over a course of time. And I thought
Yes.
those were all pretty fun.
No, those were fantastic.
Yes.
I'm just saying that, like,
And those were all before, like,
in the
Mary
dozen
was
plus
only on the
years
show.
we've done this, it's harder and harder to come up with,
I've
Mary-
only
Mary-
been here for 2.
Yeah, it was and you participated in one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only one that you were officially on the show for was the bowl cut, and that was the only one that was like over time.
What did you do? You haven't done a punishment yet, or
I
you
did the paper clip, binder clip thing last year.
Oh yeah, that's
it.
right. You and me,
And that
Cody.
was the day of. So
Yeah.
like, yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, that stuff I think is good. It's funny. We get a dopamine hit for the audience, and Alan, when I used to practice semen retention, playing them on 2 hours to midnight this weekend, by the way, I gooned all the time and didn't know what it was called.
Yeah. Also,
I'd crank for 2 hours without ever finishing. What is the point of that? Is it people who are practicing?
retaining semen.
But is that some fakakta Andrew Tate nonsense? I mean, is this something people are learning from Joe Rogan or what?
I don't know.
You think it's like wine? You got to let it age? Let it out. What's the whole?
Let it go.
I don't understand it. Blow it out and get on with your day.
They're not trying to get on with their day.
Semen retention.
This sounds like
Stop it.
this is their day.
You've
And
got
once
too much time on your hands if you're
They got-
carving out a 2-hour whack session.
But they got nothing else on their hands because they're not letting it go.
I'm retaining
a
it.
2-hour whack session so that you can what? Because what's the end game?
To eventually
Look how long I can go. That I understand. If you're practicing for some kind of tantra, okay. If you, but boy, you need hobbies or something. For some people, it's the ultimate journey of self-control. Okay. Listen, if there's one thing I think people...
I think it's just a way to save money on tissues.
Well, then fire it down the drain. I mean, take tissues out of the equation. What are the benefits, purported benefits, of semen retention? More confidence and self-control. All right. Well, I mean, listen, you can always use more confidence, right? You can never have too much of that. Less anxiety and depression. Okay, so this sounds like guys who like pop off way too fast. So yes, that is an issue. I mean, that's something that can cause you no small amount of agita if you're, whether you're straight or gay or whatever, everything in between. You don't want to finish too quickly.
I didn't know that made me a gooner. I like to luxuriate in my porn. You don't want to just gulp down wine. You want to sip it a little bit. You want to enjoy it. But
are you doing it for 2 hours? Okay, listen, we've established, you're proving my point. We've established you have a lot of time on your hands.
In the evening when I unwind, like before I go to bed, if I'm up late, that's the time I'm supposed to be in bed. So, I have a lot of time.
2 hours. Instead of doing something else, you're doing that. 2 hours.
Instead of sleeping, I'm looking at porn.
And you're literally, the point is to do nothing for those 2 hours.
That's what he wants to do. It's his time.
You make time to touch yourself.
Okay, so
like, what do you mean?
Let me just read these to you, because this is where you start to realize people are listening to a lot of strange podcasts to get this information. What are the purported benefits of semen retention? Greater vitality, thicker hair, deeper voice, increased muscle growth. See, that's where they're zeroing in on these dudes.
Yeah.
They're probably some half-ass Instagram accounts.
Instead of it becoming semen, it becomes muscle.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's how protein works.
Listen, it's your stuff, and you should do whatever you want to do with it. But I don't see the point.
I mean, I guess the idea behind that, because Dr. Berglund said if you don't have an emission, it absorbs back into your body. And there is protein in semen. So
yes, but you have to have so much of it.
Yeah, if you really want to retain a lot of, if you want to use, you're gonna need other people's if you want to get gains from semen retention.
You're running around.
I didn't say anything's wrong with that. I'm saying if you want to get gains from semen retention, you're gonna need somebody else's semen to retain.
So just throw a party and have them support you.
I don't know if you watched the Dakota Johnson SNL, but one of the bits that kind of went viral was the roasting her. She and the Please Don't Destroy Boys roasting each other. That was pretty funny. The episode overall, not good. Because Dakota Johnson is lovely, but boy, everybody talks about like her vibe is like this poker face. And I'm like, that's a very diplomatic way of describing somebody who doesn't have a lot of range. Because everything, again, I think she's gorgeous, but everything you see her in, you're like, man, this is one monotone vibe that this girl puts out there. It wasn't one of their better episodes. For as long as I hung on to SNL, I finally, I don't know what precipitated it, maybe just too many other things to keep up with, but I just finally watch it every so often now. I didn't even realize they were doing new episodes. I thought they were in reruns. But Dakota Johnson hosted this past weekend. I went back and watched Kate McKinnon host because I hadn't seen that. And that was pretty good. But she referred to the Please Don't Destroy Boys as the lonelier island.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, yeah. Semen retention. Sounds like what your office manager... we've had a rough quarter.
Ever since everybody's been working from home, we've had a tough time with semen retention around here. We got to get those numbers up.
There's a big article on work from home that office mandates don't help companies make more money. Return to office mandates are about poor management. It's another way for managers to get people in the office and then blame the employees when things don't pick up. And so, as more and more people, because the big story this week was that IBM basically told their managers, either move near one of our offices or you have to quit. Company-wide ultimatum over at IBM to managers who were working remotely. Find one of our local offices and you need to move near there so that you can be in the office 3 or 4 days a week, or you can quit. And most people have come to the conclusion, and even when they analyze this, they're like, working from home does not diminish the success of employees. It actually works the other way. Because you might have noticed, like, companies that want to do this, you know, they don't want work from home if you only work from home. They want you to work in the office and then go home and work some more. So they don't mind work from home if it's in addition to what you already do. They just don't like work from home if that's all you do. Nobody's going to complain if you go home and still do more work. You know, you might have seen these commercials for, because everybody's making them. Meta's making them. Apple's making them. The VR goggles. They say Apple has already sold 200,000 of these Vision Pro headsets.
What do they do?
And they ain't cheap. Well, that's what I'm saying. The commercial that you see, they look super fun. First of all, they want to convince people that they're going to work out with them. You want some big sweaty thing on your head while you're working out?
That costs $4,000.
Right.
You trip and break it.
So you're not going to do that. If you're watching a movie or playing a game, we saw a commercial last night. I go, yeah, okay, that looks fun. But they also pitch them to you as like, it helps you stay creative. And so they have a guy in his kitchen. He's basically doing work. His kid's off to the side playing, and he's standing in the kitchen like a dope with his thing on his head, and he's doing spreadsheets. So companies would love that. If you were doing that from home, they wouldn't complain about work from home. But this push to get people back in the office, the data does not support that being a thing that's important. It's more about like companies are spending money on rent for office space.
Are they paying to relocate the managers, IBM?
I don't think so.
Move to, like, you have to move?
No, because I think if the ultimatum is move or quit, I don't think they're like, we're going to give you money to do it.
It doesn't make sense. I mean,
I don't know.
It's also like, well, what if I don't move and I don't quit?
then they'll fire you.
Yeah, they let you go.
Yeah, then make them fire you. Don't quit.
Yeah.
Well, and also, you know, because companies have to weigh the potential cost of getting sued, right, for an employee for wrongful termination or something like that. And so they go, well, you know, we either won't have to worry about that because people don't think they can do it, or we'll just settle. Who knows? But yeah, Apple says that they have already sold 200,000 of those ProVision goggles.
What's crazy, like I'm watching some of the previews here, and it just looks like you have a floating TV.
Right.
It doesn't look like you're doing, like, it does.
Right.
Where are you watching it?
It's just on the Apple's website, and it's just.
A floating TV.
Like a TV on your head?
Yeah, like you just move around, and it's not like it, because it's not your whole field of vision. It just is a screen floating in front of you, and then if you turn your head, the TV screen turns too. This is.
Or you can set a background so you can turn your head and there's like you're watching television in the desert or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
But the thing is $3,500.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get one of these.
So
Give it
you're,
a couple years, they'll be $20. You know what I mean?
Not a couple years.
and by the way, it's not wireless. So you put the thing
You have
on.
to plug in?
Well, but it's got a wire.
Charge.
It's got a wire with a battery on it that's hanging down by, you know.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, no. Give it some time. You don't need this one.
Yeah, even the Meta one that they have, what do they call Meta Quest?
Yeah.
That at least you don't have a wire hanging down from your head.
I mean, again,
Like you got a dongle.
It is very cool. You know, people are reaching out and pinching things on their desktop and whatever. But this notion that like it's going to revolutionize. Listen, the first generation of anything is not going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But
People
you know,
really-
but any new technology, they always sell it to you in the way that, oh, this is going to help you do this and that.
Right.
Most people are going to watch porn on it and watch movies on an airplane. That's what most people are. Now, if you spend $3,500, do whatever the hell you want.
Well,
But every time I see these articles about it, managers hate work from home. Yeah, they hate work from home because they can't keep an eye on you.
Yep.
If you're working from home after you leave the office, nobody complains about that. But there's just not that much data to support that. I mean, employees are happier. They get more done, usually.
they just don't want to be they don't want to live their life. Like, they rather live a virtual life because can't nothing hurt you in there rather than being at home, kids running around, wife nagging you.
Well, that's what's so interesting that's why it's so interesting about like Gen Z who have grown up recording or filming everything or kind of an everything is potential content thing, where you see a hell of a lot more layoff videos. You know, people who work remote, Gen Zers and stuff, and for a lot of people, it might be the first time they've ever been fired from a job. But people filming themselves as they're being laid off, it's not face-to-face, it's on Zoom or whatever. That used to be a quiet thing. Mm-hmm. It used to be, you know, if you got laid off or fired, that was a private thing. But a lot of these younger workers are like, screw that. Because then these videos go out, and then the people who did the firing or the company in general is like, yeah, well, they're kind of laying bare these thin premises for letting people go. They really have nothing to do with their performance. They're just like, yeah, we had a soft quarter. You know, we were talking about how UPS drivers will text us and go, oh, it's great. We get all these great benefits and blah, blah, blah. And for a lot of people, that's true. UPS had a soft quarter four. So they're like, yeah, we're going to lay off 12,000 people across the company. Now, I'm sure that'll be across a variety of divisions, but
Still 12,000 people.
it's still 12,000 people. Because they're like, we didn't ship as many packages as we thought. But again, it's the nature of any business. Hey, we didn't do what we thought we were going to do. So, I don't know. Oh, I got a break. I'm late. I want to send a text 35192.